So all of my videos so far have been woodworking, but this is Obi's crafts and stuff. So I'm going to dive a little more into the stuff part. And with that, I'm going to bring you this video. I've got this new kayak and I'm going to rig it up for me, fully rigged for fishing. I started kayak fishing about 5 years ago with a kayak very similar to this. It was another Future Beach. It had pole holders and everything. It was a fishing kayak. I paid like over 400 bucks for it, I think, which now is crazy. I cut the seat out, ended up cutting a hole all the way through the hull. I Gorilla taped it up. It was a total mess, but it worked. And then last year I bought a Native Titan 10.5, which is a sit-on. It's like a Cadillac for kayaks. Recently, a couple friends and I found a place and it's just loaded with ponds and lakes. A lot of them are accessible by the road. Some of them, most of them, you have to hike through the woods with your kayak. The Native Titan is like 100 pounds after you've got it rigged up. So it's not really ideal for pulling through the woods. When I got the Titan, I gave away my old kayak, so I ended up getting another one. And I'm going to rig this one up just like my old one pretty much, minus the hole in the bottom of the hull. And we're going to keep everything under $300. That way, I don't care if I drag this thing through the woods, rub a hole in the bottom of it, I can put Gorilla Tape on, I know that holds, and be fine with it. So let's get started. To start this build, we're going to go over the kayak. This is a Future Beach Voyager 10.4. It's already got a couple rod holders in it. It's got a back hatch. It's got a little front hatch pocket. It's kind of pointless. But if you're trying to go for cheap, you have to shop either used or coupons. The popularity of kayaks today, it's crazy. There's always someone who's selling one used for cheap. There's nothing wrong with. I have a Dunham's down the road. I live outside of Parkersburg, West Virginia. They always have email coupons. Half of them are for kayaks. And so that's what got us started down there. They had one on sale for $169, I think. It was a Pelican. So we went down there to look at them. And $169, it's light. You can add a couple rod holders, anchor cleats, whatever. By the time you're all done with it, you don't have a whole lot of money in it, relatively speaking. So we were looking around, we found this one in particular, two of them actually, just identical. And they were $199 on clearance. They were covered in mud though, so we were like, you know, these are already muddy, will you take anything less for them? And they said, yeah, we'll take $179 for these kayaks if you buy both of them. So that's what we did. So we're at $179 so far on this build. And I'll keep a clicker here and it'll keep track of how much we've got in this actual kayak build. When it comes to kayaking in general, and especially kayak fishing where you're probably going to be sitting in this thing for hours on hours, the seat is the #1 priority for me. These seats here are super uncomfortable. They don't go halfway up your back. Within a few hours, you're ready to go. You're done, just because your back is so uncomfortable, at least for me. So what I've done with the last one and what I'm going to do with this one is this cheap Wal-Mart boat seat. This seat was $29 at Walmart, and all we'll have to do is cut the old molded seat out, and then this will just sit flat on top of the hull inside. I'm going to cut this seat out with this oscillating tool. I'm using this because the blade isn't very long and chances of cutting all the way through the hull and repeating my problem from the last time I did this is minimal. You could use a Sawzall, which would be really quick. You'd want to cut the blade so you know the blade doesn't penetrate all the way through both the seat and the hull. Jigsaw would work. It's just these curves, sometimes jigsaws, it's a little hard to deal with. The main thing is, do not cut through the hull. One thing to keep in mind, some kayaks have these supports molded into the bottom of the seats. It's not a huge deal, but you need to be extra careful and not cut through them. One thing I did to mine that my friend doesn't want done on his is I cut the back hatch open. This hatch is maybe 8 inches across this way. There's not much you can put in here. When I'm going fishing in my kayak like this, I have like a tackle backpack. I just use this lip here as a guide for a jigsaw, went around it, and that ended up opening it up probably at least 4 more inches across. And now my tackle bag will easily fit inside of it. Next up is this little cheap tool pouch. I got it from Lowe's. It's perfect size for pliers and scissors, line cutters, whatever you might be carrying. I think it will actually hold a cell phone in there too, along with all your tools. The reason I picked this one is because it has this snap, and that'll be perfect to just cut a small line right here. I want to keep it kind of tucked close to this, that way if it rubs on your leg or something, if you want, you can hopefully, in theory, put it behind this and it'll hold. The way we're going to do this is just use a Dremel with a cutting tool, and I'm just going to cut a small, maybe 4-inch line and try and shimmy this up through the hole. Something my big Titan kayak has is a rod holder on the right side, and it's great for when you are dealing with a fish that you've caught or you're tying on a new lure. You just stick your fishing pole in that rod holder and you don't have to move around too much. Everything's real convenient. It's something that I've come to enjoy and I definitely want in this new kayak. So we're going to use this Ozark Trail rod holder. It was $7, I believe. This isn't the perfect setup for it. There's no real flat angle here, so it's going to come in and the rod's going to stick out just a little bit, but just having this rod holder right here close to you will make things really easy. This particular rod holder is actually a little too long for what I'm wanting to do. It was hitting the bottom of the kayak. So off camera, I cut it on my bandsaw, and I cut the end off because it's got this little stopper piece on it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to tape it up and actually just use like a heat gun and kind of weld it back together. good enough for what it's for. There's really no gap underneath of here, but just as an added protection, I am going to add a little bit of silicone and smear it in and try and seal up anything that could leak. Now we're going to attach these anchor cleats. These were $3 from Walmart. I don't really recommend these because now that I have them, they don't have any hardware that comes with them. The best thing I have are just some screws. I think they'll work. Hopefully they don't rip out. We'll see. We're going to attach them about right here. That way they're out of the way of both of the rod holders and they're easy to get to still. There'll be one right here and there'll be one almost in an identical position on the other side. And finally, we're going to put on this $13 paddle clip. I'm going to put it on the left side. This kayak has this kind of paddle clip over here on the right side. But like I said before, I fish with the fishing pole in my right hand. So it'll make more sense for me to have the paddle on the left side. All right, we're out here on the water. I'm in my kayak. It's all camoed out. The boat seat is really comfortable. My tackle bag fits in real good. Paddle clip, right where it needs to be. And here's the side rod holder. I love it, right here. It makes it really nice. I'm fishing, I catch a fish, put it right there in the rod holder. If I want to change out the lure, right there it is. I can work on it right here. Everything's really nice and easy. Hopefully this video helped you. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing, subscribe to my channel. My next few videos I'm going to show you how I make these inline spinners. They're really good for bass actually. Good size, they work great. I've been carving my own hand baits and doing rubber molds with them. Might make a video on those too, so stick around. Happy making and good luck fishing.